The Philly, Joe and Kirby Podcast.
This is the Philly, Joe and Kirby Podcast.
The 255-page plan calls for Winnipeggers to rely on personal vehicles for only about half of their trips within the city 26 years in the future. Right now, we rely on personal vehicles as passengers or drivers for about 4 in 5 trips. The motivation is to provide more convenient public transit and active transportation corridors.
The skeptics are already suggesting that's why they don't work on putting all that money into the roads now. It won't be a big...
Won't need it. I hope to have a jetpack at that point. We're talking 26 years. Be buzzing around like Iron Man. Come on.
I'll tell you right now, I'll just be taking iron so I can buzz around in 26 years.
Yeah, you and I will be meeting for coffee. Goddamn weather. What the hell?
We might be meeting for coffee. We might be living across the hall from each other.
Oh, my
And
God.
hoping Kirby comes to visit with some Krispy Kreme donuts or something. They'll have their second location open.
That girl hasn't been here in a while.
She was here yesterday, don't you remember?
I'm going down to get the mail, Joe. My hip. Oh.
I already put up with that off air all the time. I can't imagine going to visit. Folk Fest celebrating.
Already put up with.
Well, I mean, you guys don't sound like you're going to change that
up with
much
us.
as you get older.
Living in a seniors complex off air around here? I didn't know that.
Don't bother coming on Tuesday. That's shuffleboard.
Actually, I'm rethinking this. Don't bother coming to visit at all.
If I'm coming, I'm bringing my karaoke machine and I'll sing for you guys.
Bring it. Oh, God.
Nope. Don't let this woman in the building. There'll be a sign.
Philly, Joe, Kirby.
Philly, Joe and Kirby.
Podcast.
The Philly, Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Seriously, though, I think it would be neat for you and I, Joe, to live in the same 55 plus, the same seniors complex someday. You know, and I go to my folks' joint all the time, and I see my mom down there. Not so much my dad. He's not as social. But I see my mom down there yucking it up, talking to the mailman, not the mailman, what do they call it's not a mailman anymore. That's an old school term. The postal worker comes in to deliver the mail, and they chat up the postal worker. And I just think, I envision you and I just chatting up that whole building. It would be fun.
No kidding. Do they do, they have like activities?
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Potlucks.
Yeah, they have. Okay, see,
My
there's
mom
different
makes-
facilities.
yeah.
So some facilities offer up the meals, like either 2 meals a day or 3 meals a day.
Yeah, like, are you guys in an assisted care facility or are you
No.
caring for yourselves? Because I just need to know.
We're not in assisted care, okay?
We're in a seniors complex.
Seniors complex, very active.
They have,
very active.
yeah.
an
Okay, well, I could see
entertain-
Joe being very active socially in that place.
Sure, they have an entertainment room. They have different programs, and then you have some physical activity. They bring in live entertainment. That's where you wanted to come in.
Yeah.
And bring your karaoke machine.
It looks a lot like a normal apartment building, to be
Yes.
honest. It's just with people 55, 60 plus walking around. Super conversational. Lots of little gathering points in the building. Lots of food. I see people
Cliques.
walking. Yeah, you'll hear about that sometimes.
My parents were in one of those places and they had to leave because what happened was my mom I think she was like jealous because all these women in the complex started like knocking on their door asking for my dad because my dad was making friends with all these like ladies that were on their own.
So that's why they left.
And
Your dad
because
was
he
too
was
much of a
helping them.
stud in the
Well,
building?
he was helping them, like, fix things, right? Because he's a Mr. Fix It.
Yeah.
And so my mom was like, "What are you, the caretaker around
Well,
here?
the
People
good
knocking
news-
at the door."
The good news is nobody's going to be asking Joe and I to fix things in the building, so we will not run into that problem.
No, that won't happen.
But it'll be fun. Something to think about down the road, Joe, the next 20 years.
Our wives would be happy to get rid of us by that point.
They're coming with us.
They're coming
They
with
can
us.
hang
Are
out
you
too.
kidding me?
They're coming with us.
They're gonna book you guys in there and leave you.
The Philly, Joe and Kirby Podcast.
I'm going to be honest with you, too. I went out and hit some golf balls yesterday, and I was tearing the cover off those range balls, man. Driving range, because we're golfing together. We do this usually once or twice a summer. Once for sure. Mm-hmm. It's a Never Alone Foundation golf tournament. correct, Joe? On Thursday, you're the
Yep.
MC, and we're lucky. Joe, you do Joe on any given week for sure. And good on you for donating your time, and you have a lot of fun at the golf tournaments as well. But you MC a lot of golf tournaments throughout any given summer.
Yeah, it's been a busy summer, but
Yeah.
it's nice to catch up with friends.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have a
that
good
maybe
time.
you haven't seen yet over
Yeah.
the summer because it gets busy.
That's right. You haven't had a chance, but this is one of those opportunities where Kirby and I get to play with you and Adam Kane.
and watch
Kaner's
Joe
coming.
work
Kaner's
a room.
coming. Yeah, but because I don't play as much golf as I'd like to, for sure. So because of that, I got to get out, and I don't know, Kirby. You mentioned maybe going to the driving range and hitting some golf balls, so that we.
I was joking.
Okay. So that we don't drag Joe down. I want to have. You already said you guys better be practicing because I want to win this tournament on Thursday.
Well, we're not going to win it.
So I went out and hit some golf balls.
Let's not shoot for the stars.
get
You
ready.
know me. I'm a player when it comes to golf. No, yeah, we're gonna have fun. Never Alone Foundation golf tournament. It's an annual. It's a big event for them. They do such wonderful things with cancer programs and people. I just love that charity because they're one of the smaller ones, and they actually go right to the home. Like if a family needs to get out and escape to a Jets game, they'll make it happen. To a Bomber game, or if you need gift cards to do some shopping, that kind of stuff. So it'll be a good one on Thursday at Breezy Bend. We'll go see our old buddy Corey Johnson.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to test out the injured toes and how it would affect
that's right.
my golf swing because I've got 2 broken toes. I don't know if in case
I heard about it.
You guys have heard about it, but in case our listeners missed it, I mentioned it last week. The 2 toes, so the pinky and then the next 2 toes, I'm pretty sure they're broken.
3 then.
No, not
next to the pinky.
Next to the pinky. Those are both injured
The
from
pinky is not affected.
bedpost. I hammered my foot on a bedpost. So I wanted look, day to day is fine, but it's one of those nagging injuries. It's very painful. So I wanted to see.
How did it hold up yesterday?
No problem. I taped him up before I went.
Well, you didn't do much walking.
No, it's just standing there.
You're just standing.
Right,
So we don't know how the walking's going to go, but we have a cart.
Did you not say he was going to get a walking boot?
I did suggest
way-
a walking boot.
That way
Draw
everybody
more
asks
attention
him.
to it.
Yeah,
do you
everybody will ask him about it. It'll make him feel better.
Actually, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
No.
How do
you feel better when people ask.
Do I need a doctor to or can I
I'm
just go
sure
buy
somebody
a
has one in
walking
their
boot?
basement in storage that they had to wear for a while.
Someone's gonna lend me their walking boot.
Are you kidding? We're going to put you on the drink cart. You can
Oh
keep
my
you
God,
can
that
keep
poor
your foot
woman
in the ice
working at the
bucket.
drink cart,
No, I mean,
hearing all his stories.
Put your foot in the ice bucket. Tell her all
Oh
the
my
stories.
God.
in her ice bucket.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Also, after 7 o'clock, probably the most exciting thing about the home run derby, depending on how. Look, if you're a baseball fan, you probably love the home run derby. But what's getting the most talk about the home run derby at the MLB All-Star Game was the national anthem.
And she did not hit a home run.
She did not. It'll go down in history. And
I'm
then
seeing it everywhere.
we have in the history of pro sports, especially the last 50 years, we have a nice pile of blown anthems. And this one, people on social media are saying throw it right at the top. Like people are saying top 5 worst anthems.
Man, it's a lot of pressure, I will say, because I used to sing the anthem for an Alberta junior hockey team. And
We know.
And that
Yeah.
kind of pressure would be obviously pressure for you, but we're talking
right,
worldwide.
but no, I know, but
Yeah.
on a small scale, walking out on the ice, having all those eyes on you, including
Yeah.
the players.
Yeah.
I can't imagine on a larger scale when I watch some of these anthem singers, you know, like the dude who was skating around for the Vancouver Canucks and then biffed it on the carpet there.
Yeah, he deserved
I'll
that.
never
though.
forget that.
He deserved that.
You
If you're
know?
going to skate around while doing the anthem, I mean, come on.
But honestly, there's no place more patriotic, it seems, than when you see Americans
Yeah.
standing for their
Yes.
national anthem. And listen, we've had some Americans blow the Canadian national anthem during sporting events, and we've seen that go viral. But I'll tell you, these don't go away. This video
No.
never goes away now, is what I'm saying. Those junior hockey days, at least if you biff something,
Nothing was
no one's
filmed.
got, unless it's sitting in your 8mm at home in your dad's projection
I would love
projector.
that.
You know,
Camcorder footage.
Yeah.
I would love
That's
that.
it, right?
There might be
Kirby
VHS
doing the
tape.
anthem for the Drayton Valley Thunder. Okay, we'll get to that blown anthem from last night after 7 o'clock.
Philly Joe Kirby
Philly Joe and Kirby.
podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
PJK Extra. I'd like to thank everybody who partakes, who downloads, checks out the podcast. It's going really well. From everything we've heard, it's setting records across the planet for podcasts.
Across the planet? I thought it was just the world, but I'm excited to hear we've upped it to the planet.
There's a couple places we're having a hard time, cutting into. Romania. I don't know. We've got research people looking into that, but otherwise...
Liechtenstein has really
That's another
picked
one.
up the
Yeah.
pace, I think so. Romania is really our major problem right now.
It's
It's
bizarre.
like World Cup soccer. Not every team gets in, and we're trying our best with the podcast.
I'm happy to say, thanks to Joe, Italy. We're like, our podcast...
Almost number one in Italy.
Our podcast can't walk the streets in Italy, man.
You're damn right.
Off the charts in Joe's homeland.
So the least you could do is share it. You
Yeah.
know, I'm a big fan of sharing any type of podcast I'm listening to on my social media, like on my Instagram story for other people to see, and then subscribe.
Tell a friend.
Yeah, that could be why we're number one.
The Kirby sharing.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
social
sure that
media.
has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Like for
I
sure.
have a lot of followers in Italy.
You're
What
not
can I
just
say?
going to get life advice
Life advice.
from her and her circle of memes. You're going
Yeah.
to get
It's like-
sage life advice.
That's
yeah?
right. You're scrolling through her Instagram and like live, love, laugh.
Yeah.
When somebody tells you to be quiet, scream louder. Like there's all this advice, and
Today,
then
not much.
bang, podcast, and there it is.
Not much today. I'm going to save you the hit. She's wearing
Not
pink
much.
pants. Well, you're wearing pink pants. That was the only thing I saw you post this morning.
No advice.
I thought it was a nice photo in the
Nice
bathroom.
pants. No,
What
absolutely.
he's saying is there was just a photo.
Yeah,
no
no advice today.
No.
What?
Yeah, I know.
It's
I
early.
don't know what's gotten
It's early
into
in the
me.
day.
No.
Yeah, it's early.
This is when we're recording this part of the podcast.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what's coming.
Lots of day left. Okay, so what we do with PJK Extra, we find something that we really want to discuss, and we didn't get a chance during the 4 hours of the program. And today, Kirby, you were mentioning something about one of our all three of us can
Yeah.
agree. United on this one. One of our favorite things, mac and cheese.
100%. Like, of course, we got to talk KD. That's the OG of craft or of macaroni and cheese, right? Kraft dinner.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this: we're not going to talk about what you throw in as a topping because we've done
Smokies.
that before.
Cheese smokies. No, we're not going to talk about that?
No,
Okay.
and you've said that before.
Yeah,
that
oh,
cheese
it's so
smokies
good.
are
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Some people add ketchup, all that kind of stuff. I want to know: do you eat your mac and cheese with a fork or a spoon?
I'd be a big spoon.
A big spoon,
Not just a spoon, a big spoon.
like a spatula.
I
type
like,
spoon?
no, not a You're thinking ladle, not
ladle.
a spatula.
Ladle for soup.
Flip a grilled cheese and eat my KD
Yes.
with a...
Shovel it in your
No, a ladle. No, just a big spoon, like a spoon. A little
A
spoon.
tablespoon.
Yeah,
Not a teaspoon.
not a teaspoon. There you go.
tablespoon.
Do you make yours like soupy?
I like it creamy. I call it creamy, not soupy.
And they have a
Okay.
creamy version of KD. They have the 3 cheese version, the creamy version.
Okay.
I'm old school. I like the original, and I'm a fork guy from way back when.
Fork.
And most people I know are spoon people, but I always like the fork. And I think why? Because there's always going to be about those 3 or 4 left that I can just stab with a fork and finish it up. Just had a box on Sunday watching the Euro final. Christy goes, "Hey, are you going to have lunch?" I said, "Yeah, you know what? I'm feeling like KD." And she goes, "You know what? I'm even going to make it for you," which was even better. When somebody makes you
Oh,
KD.
anything made by somebody
Oh,
else.
man.
Now, do you like it dry or do you like it moist?
No, I like it more coagulated.
Coagulated.
And I'll tell you what, I usually have it with chicken tenders, but I just went solo.
Like you cut up the chicken tenders
Yeah.
and throw them in?
Yeah,
Oh,
after,
that's
yeah.
nice. Yeah, very nice.
I gotta use a fork because were you even living if you didn't, as a kid, take each individual noodle on each prong of the fork? You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
You put
Yeah.
the
Too
noodle
slow.
over the prongs.
Two slices.
I'm going to tell you what, you don't get to my size in life by playing with your food. Eat it.
That's what I was just gonna say. That's too slow. Like for
Yeah.
me, that's why I use that big spoon. Give me, like,
That makes a lot of sense for Phil, actually, now that I
yeah.
see it. The quicker it gets down the hatch, the quicker
Yeah.
it is.
You know what? When you're talking about the bigger spoon being the tablespoon, it reminded me. I still remember a buddy of mine, and he was like our KD specialist. Like this guy in high school, like would make KD, and we'd all go over. But he'd push it out onto the plates or whatever. He'd make 2 boxes, right? If there was 3 of us, and he'd eat his right out of the pot with the wooden spoon.
Oh, I've done that before.
And that is a
Yeah.
pretty.
That's bachelor lifestyle.
Yeah, that's
Batch,
OG.
batch.
Yeah.
When you're a bachelor, you're not wasting dishes.
Yeah.
Let me just guess, Phil. You're standing there, eating out of the pot that you made it in, shirtless in your boxers,
And hungover.
There's a football game on in the background.
You got me, Curbs. You got me figured out.
I can only imagine what you were
Drinking.
like back then, Phil.
Those last sips of that flat beer that's been sitting on the counter.
Now you had to rude craft dinner.
That's PJK Extra. Looking to gain some numbers in Romania. If you know anybody there, let them know.
Please.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast. Got something to say?
Okay, I'll say it.
Well, you should probably call the bone phone and let her rip.
It actually feels nice to finally say it out loud.
780-BONE. Brought to you by Auto Gallery of Winnipeg.
Tell these idiots on firmware to shorten up the bloody construction so we can actually merge properly. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, a lot of construction back and forth over the past few weeks. It's summer. It's Manitoba. There's construction everywhere.
It's inevitable.
You can understand both sides, the frustration and then the frustration of the people trying to get the work done.
The orange isn't coming off of the spray tans. It's construction cones this time of year.
Spray tans are not orange, Joe.
Bronze.
Bronze.
Sorry.
Bronze?
Yes.
Bronze.
Sun-kissed.
That's the...
Well, not sun-kissed because you're not using the sun. Kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't
she goes out tanning all the time, okay?
it? Yeah. With a spray tan. No, but a lot of people do that in the winter. They get a spray tan before they go
Yes.
somewhere, so they
that
look
they-
like they're in the game already.
Well, and let's be honest. The sun's not good for you, right? Like, as far as too much sun. So, if
Yeah, SPF is my BFF, is what I like to say in the summer.
You're just a walking slogan this morning.
Get to say that. Well, you were at the beach alone, so I'm guessing all the strangers you used your favorite line on. Hey, SPF is my BFF, and they're looking, going, well, it looks like it. You're just sitting here alone.
Who's that lady talking to over there?
There's nothing wrong with going to the beach by yourself.
Nothing.
The one by herself. Why does she keep talking to everybody who walks by? Okay, it's like you put a quarter in, you get a slogan or a phrase. Okay, business hours. This guy a little frustrated with some of the hours of some different industries.
Hey, Billy, Joe, and Kirby. I just want to know what happened to opening and closing times across, multiple businesses and, unrelated industries. Because it seems all the stuff that I tend to work for, whether it's like, landscaping, construction, or, the auto industry, all that stuff is open and at 8 o'clock in the morning like it used to be. But let's say you need to go get your phone repaired. Let's say you need to get a new license. In order to get that done in a hurry, you got to wait until 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning in some cases. Oh, and it's even better when you have that one phone repair store that's open at 10:30 and then they're closed at 4:30 in the afternoon. Like, what happened to the time when everything was open at 8 o'clock in the morning just because it was 8 o'clock in the morning and that's when everybody else was going to work and economically your business had a chance of making money in that hour?
Did somebody fix that dude's phone?
He needs help.
He certainly does, yeah.
But I mean, you can sympathize with him. You want convenience, right? When you're...
Yeah. For me, it's not the hours that I've noticed. There's been a few times I've gone somewhere and they're like, oh, we're closed on Tuesdays. And I was like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah,
Economics aren't working as far as a lot of retail outlets nowadays with staff. You can't staff. A lot of people don't want to work either.
Would you say then, Joe, typically it's staffing that causes hours, like odd hours?
And the dollars and cents of having to pay people, right, for these. I guess that's the sign of the times. COVID really changed a lot of attitudes that way.
Sure did. I mean, and then not everybody works as hard as the hooligan. I mean, we've learned that, especially the guys he works with, the young guys who must just love hearing from him.
Last week when I was on the holidays, I said to the guys, we go for wings once in a while. I says, the following week, Wednesday, we'll go for wings. Yeah, okay. So last week I go for overtime on Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday while I'm there, it says, yeah, so we're still on for wings. Well, broke till payday. Payday's not till Thursday. I'm like, how the are you guys broke all the time? You guys either have roommates, you got dual incomes, or if you live at home still. Like I said, I don't understand what you guys do with your fucking money. And then one of the guys who says he has no money, he phoned in sick for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We only get 5 paid sick days. He was out like months ago. So guy who bitches he has no fucking money, and phones in sick for 3 days when he's not even sick and no pay. Like, I don't know what the you guys do with your money, what kind of lifestyle you guys are living, but honestly, I mean, I've been a single parent, 15 years? Even when I was married, I paid everything myself. And you know what I do? I work overtime to save money. Not that I need it, but extra money always helps.
Did you hear a little honk in there, too, while he was
What an interesting guy.
It's interesting to me that, well, at the end of the day, we just had the call about places never being open. This place seems to be open 24/7, 7 days a week, because even on vacation, hooligans going in to work overtime. Good example to set
No
for the young
shortage
guys.
of it either.
But listen, we had a guy, I remember, a buddy that would like work but never have money to go out. Like, we'd go out for beers or whatever, right? And it was like he came up, he goes, well, you know how it goes. Chicken one day, feathers for the rest of the month. And we go, what the hell are you talking about? That was insane.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Half an hour away, the big dumb wheel, $300 up for grabs.
Also hitting a double banger today.
Yeah.
Double banger because there's two awesome requests. And by that, I mean we have I think it's a 50th birthday, so you've got to play that banger. And then we got another request with a story attached to it where we're like, we got to play that one too. Mm-hmm. So every now and then we throw on a special double banger, so it'll be one after another. And then we'll get into the possibly giving away $300 with the big dumb wheel, which we've never gone past 300. We keep saying it, but that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't know, what an actuary would tell us or a statistician, but it's never happened.
It's really strange, actually.
Well, it's not like I don't want somebody to win, but at the same time, I do want it to at least once go to the $400.
Yeah, you're right. It's like
a catch-22.
Yeah, you want to hope for them to win, but yet giving away $400 or $500 later this week would be neat too.
Well, see, now you just added another dilemma to the cost. So tomorrow, let's say it goes to 400. Are you going to want to go, round number 500 would sound so good a day later? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's money.
I'm happy either way.
Yep,
if we give it away today, great. If we have to go 400, 500 later this week, that'd be fantastic too.
It is what it is, Phil.
Hey. You know what? I know some people who hate that term. It is what it is.
Phil's one of them.
No.
No, actually.
My wife does not like it. It is what it is.
Do you use that to end is that your
I try to get out of disagreements with
yes,
that. It is what
that's
it
why
is.
she doesn't like it.
Well, yeah, probably.
Or we, hold on, let's just say we agree to disagree.
No.
Well, that's the same thing as it is.
I know,
what it
but
is.
you can't see. It is what it is. Can be dropped like I dropped it, but because we weren't arguing.
Right.
But you can't drop. It is what it is when you're in a disagreement, and you certainly can't say let's agree to disagree.
It is what it is almost like a whatever end of discussion, as people kind of it is what it is, and they don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm done, but they might not be done talking about it.
That's why it annoys people. I'm not done.
Yeah.
What's wrong with agree to disagree? We'll never agree on this. You have your way of thinking. I have mine.
Yeah.
Why do we got to sit here and hash it out for agree to disagree? I don't see what's wrong with that.
I guess when you put it that way, there's really nothing wrong with it as long as it's not said to invalidate somebody.
Whatever, Kirby. Agree to
Yeah,
disagree.
we're going to have to agree to disagree. It is what it is.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Big dumb wheel.
300 smackers on the line. Our contestant today, Jess, good morning.
Good morning.
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 Jess, you sound a little tense.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, you do.
I mean, there's only $300 on the line.
Yeah, that'd be nice to win.
It would be.
It's really an easy contest, though,
Yeah.
Jess. You pick one of three names, and hopefully it lands on that name, and bingo bongo, we write you a check, $300.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not too many hoops to jump through.
Have you been trying to get through, Jess, with the contest, the Big Dumb Wheel?
Yeah.
You have, eh? And this is your lucky day. Here you are, live on the air, about to play the Big Dumb Wheel. We should say, I want to say the last couple of days it's landed on Kirby. Is that Joe?
Let me look
maybe?
at my paper here.
I believe you're right.
Although it's sitting on Joe right now.
Yeah.
Well, because Adam spun yesterday, but of course they're all Adams in the afternoon. Guaranteed win, 5-10. Yeah, it was on Kirby yesterday because the gentleman had picked you, Phil, and it landed one after you on Kirby.
Yes.
Okay. Who are you going with this morning, Jess? Philly, Joe, or Kirby?
I'll go Joe.
Joe.
Oh,
Joe.
good luck. Good luck, Jess. Starts with a J. Let's do this.
Yeah, that double. Is that why you did that, Jess? Because your name starts with J and so does Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You get ready and focus, Phil Aubrey.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Phil. Almost took the wheel off the desk there.
Oh, yeah. He's pumped.
Okay.
$300 up for grabs.
I
Come
know,
on.
and we've never gone over.
Joe.
Philly, Joe, Philly, Kirby,
Joe.
Joe,
Come on.
Philly, Kirby.
One more.
Yeah!
It just stopped.
But you know what that means, though.
Well, it means Jess is not
I'm
winning.
I'm sorry, Jess.
Let's at least let Jess off the hook here before you start
Hyping
celebrating. Jess, I apologize for my friend's behavior.
I got a little excited. I'm sorry.
So the deal is, Jess, it did not
Sorry.
land on Joe. It landed on Kirby, so you do not win the $300. We're sorry.
I should have picked Kirby.
You should have. Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Thanks for playing, though.
Yeah, have a good day.
You too.
Go ahead, Kirby.
Now, Kirby.
Get cool in the gang
Are
and
you
here start
ready?
celebrating.
$400 up
Jess,
for grabs. I know. I feel bad.
Jess was just
Wow.
sitting there. Kirby's like, wow,
It's like,
$400 tomorrow.
remind me to get you to speak at my funeral.
Well,
Holy
listen,
cow.
somebody has to lose in order for somebody to win, okay? That's how it goes.
Joe's a goner, but the good news is
There's a couple of life insurance policies.
For more Philly, Joe, and Kirby, log it into 92.1 City weekday mornings 6 to 10.